Hey, everybody. We are live and welcome to the pregame show for the Montreal Canadiens visiting the Edmonton Oilers and hopefully having a better showing than the first game. So, we're going to do a little bit of a pregame show. This is going to be a new thing for Talking Habs. No, it won't be this early every game, but instead of doing the like a half an hour before the game starts, I'm going to do a pregame show, then a live cast. So, that's going to be the new thing. So to kick it off, got special guest here, Luna. Everybody knows Luna. And Jeff is supposed to join us. I don't know if he forgot or he's just late. So hopefully he'll join us. We're just going to talk about oh, by the way, because we're probably less people than I was planning for, I'm going to put up the information. And if you'd like to get on here and talk with us, I will put that information up on how you can do that. Just have to find my stuff and be able to do that. And it is a ticker. So here we go. So you follow that on the bottom. It's called a Chiron. And you follow that on the bottom. It'll tell you everything you need to be able to do that. Send me an email. I will send you a link. And some of you already know how that works. And we can talk live on air. All right. So, Luna, we're going to talk today, I guess, just about. Okay, let me put it this way: after the last game, pretty much, I'm pretty much of a positive guy about the team, and you're very positive about it. So I'm not saying this actually is like how you felt, but for me, kind of got to the point where like I'm fed up with the positivity game, and it's time to talk a little seriously about what's going on and be realistic. And yeah, so I kind of want it in that vein, and then we'll probably do that, and then the game will be like, wow, look at Montreal. We'll come out, they'll stomp all over Edmonton, and it'll be whatever. We'll forget about everything. But that's basically what I want to do here. So we're going to touch on just, a bunch of subjects that are obviously bothering everybody. So let me ask you this question. And even though I did ask you earlier, but since we didn't have an audience, how do you feel for tonight's game?
I'm cautiously optimistic. The inconsistency in the team is worrying, but I feel like, after losing 3 in a row, hopefully they will get a fire in their pants and kind of come back. It's not as if they played terribly the last game. It's just they didn't have anything converted. So what we need is more offense, more goals. Give Allen some support.
Yeah, their offense just, I don't know, it's just falling right off the board. They have, what did they get the last game? 1. So they've got, I think,
and it was a
13
optimistic one.
Well, yeah, and I think it's
one 13. That might have, should have, maybe, possibly been called back. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's iffy. He made a motion with his foot. I don't know if it's kicking or not, but I think it would have got called back.
I would have let it go, but.
Well, that's probably what the coach was thinking. I mean, he wasn't giving us a present, so maybe I was wrong on it. But I mean, it was on the edge there.
Yeah.
So that's 13 goals in 9 games. Their last 9 games. They're not going to win that way. So I guess the first question for me here is, what do you think's gone wrong with their offense? Like, what the hell happened? I mean, the guys are still here. Did their skill level just fall off a cliff? Is it in their head, you think?
Well, like a lot of people have mentioned, a lot of our shots are coming from the outer perimeter. And since Gallagher is left, we don't have that presence in front of the net, really getting in there and mixing shit up. And he's the one who really has the confidence and the courage to get in there. And so other players tend to follow him. And we don't have that one person taking the lead, getting in front of the net, so others will follow and make those things happen. So all of the shots are coming from the perimeter, which was a problem we had before under Julian. And that is what is destroying our offense.
Yeah, we're not winning the middle. I'll only challenge you on one thing. There is one player still giving it his all every single game. That's Anderson. But he doesn't yet have that effect, it seems, that Gallagher has in like driving this team. Yeah, he's like, well, we all know he's the heart and soul of this team.
Love him.
So yeah, Gallagher is definitely being missed. I think their offense kind of fell off a little bit before that, but I'm not sure how many games he's out, actually. It might be about that. I don't think he's out 9 games, but it's somewhere around there. Yeah, we're missing
the postseason, right?
He is supposed to be back, for the playoffs.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he didn't need an operation, so that it shortened the recovery by I think a week. I heard.
Okay.
So yeah. So I kind of agree with you on that aspect, but still, even without Gallagher, they should be scoring more than 1.5 goals per game. I mean, that's just totally anemic. And okay, so bring us to probably the first. Well, probably bring us to the first topic. You think it's something to do with the coaching? Okay, I put in my last video, and I put it in the title too. I think is does Ducharme have the balls to coach this team? And so by that I mean, when you look at the team since the coaching change, there was a little bit of difference right after. But if you look at it now, it kind of looks like Claude Julien could be behind the bench.
It definitely reverted back to
the
Julien style of play. Yeah.
So my question, I guess, is asking: does he have the balls, make some changes that he wants? So part of this question is, because this is something I read somewhere, and I don't know if it was on Twitter or whatever, but it made me think: is he making the decisions, or is somebody else making some of these decisions? Basically, telling him who he has to play and what kind of pairings, even so. And I think you can key on the pairings. We're all upset about who's playing with Weber. They're not really trying to put a puck over there. And we all know our GM is a former defenseman. So the rumor is that Bergevin's got a lot of say in what's going on here. And that's why we're not seeing a typical Dominic Ducharme coach team.
Well, I'm also wondering if he is relying on Weber being the captain for a lot of these decisions, and referring to his veterans, and that's why the accountability isn't really there for some of our veteran players, because he's like, oh, I don't know, what's the room like, what are the players like, and he's not really taking the reins as much as he should be.
Yeah, but if he's doing that, that's just going to seal his fate right there. You can never make coaching decisions based on what your players are saying, really. You might listen to them, but don't make this. Listen, in the end, that's probably what got Patrick Roy traded out of Montreal. It turns out that's basically what was happening. He was influencing the coach too much. So I hope that's not what's going on here. But you know what? It's a good point, because it's a mystery. I don't know. I don't know if there's an answer there, but I have a feeling. Okay, I don't really remember seeing any Dominic Ducharme coach teams. I can't really say that I know what they should look like. But from what I hear, it shouldn't look like this. So something is going on there, and I'm wondering who's pulling the strings on some of these line combinations that we keep seeing, and we're it's what's going on?
Yeah, we did see a bit of a difference when he first came on, and then it kind of tapered off, and now we're back to this style of play that we've seen so many times that doesn't even work. So I don't know why they've reverted back to this style of play that didn't work for them.
Yeah, I personally, I can't figure it out. I want to just check to see, did anybody send out a whatchamacallit to see if they want to get somebody on?
Do you
nobody did. I got to do all these things. That's why it's tough. I wanted to see what some of these people in the room are saying, since I haven't really acknowledged anything. I want to acknowledge everybody in the room. Thanks for joining us. I really appreciate that. Sorry that it took me so long to say hi to everybody. You can all leave your guesses. This guess the score guesses in this in here. Oh, here's someone I haven't seen in a while. Hey, Vidam, how you doing? Just wanted to say hi to Vidam. I haven't seen Vidam in a long time. Vidam, I believe, is in Slovakia.
Oh, wow.
I want to say that, but my memory. Yeah, Vidam's one of my far away subscribers. He hasn't been in a while. How you doing, Vidam? So let's see what people are saying here. Galley's the leader, but still pretty sad scoring. Galley's not. He's not an elite guy, right? So, do you think a lot of this is due to the fact that we really don't have that elite kind of player that's consistent, and so we're really, and then you take away Gallagher with his the drive and that commitment that he has, and then seems like everybody's abilities go out the window, because that's what it looks like.
It's a huge puzzle piece that's missing, and and like everyone says, he's kind of the heart, the lungs, the spark plug, the go-to man. You know, and it's a big piece to miss. I think they can definitely like do something without him, and they should be.
They have to play 500 hockey.
He's been out long enough that they should have been able to figure this out by now.
They need to play 500 hockey without him, and I don't know. So far, they're not able to. On that note, what do you think about that? With Vancouver kind of showing they've got life, and they also have 4 games in hand. They're 8 points behind Montreal. So with 4 games in hand, if they just win those, they're tied, right? At that point, this guaranteed 4th place that we're supposedly should have been guaranteed is not so guaranteed. And what do you think about that? You think maybe Montreal got a little too comfortable?
Yes. I think that's a bad habit of ours, actually, is to rest on our laurels or on our heels. That's why we lost to Ottawa so many times, because we're just like, oh, these people fucking suck. We can take them, no worries. And then we got blown out in the first game.
Yeah, no, that's true. Well, they have always had this tendency since I guess late 80s or 90s to play down to poorer competition and then play up to superior, but that doesn't seem to be happening this year.
That happens in sports in general. Like I remember when I was playing roller derby, that was a huge issue. Like playing down to really green teams. Or like this team has played like 2 games and my team has been around for 3 years, but somehow we're like playing crappily against them, getting tons of penalties and just not really doing our best. And it's like, what is this? We should be destroying them.
Yeah, it's taking it lightly, and that's and maybe that's what we're seeing, right? We're not seeing any what's the word I'm looking for now? There's no urgency to the game. There's no I want to say effort almost, but
well, in that Ottawa game for sure, that was the worst game I have seen this entire season. That was just deplorable.
That was like pulling, that was like pulling your hair out.
Yeah,
that was a bad game to watch. Yeah, I agree with you there. What's this about Claude? Maybe Claude helping with drills. Would DD rehire Claude as a
he's hiding.
as a hiding coach? No, this is funny. Okay, so there's a smaller channel. He's just recently started. Oh God, what does he call his channel? Parlant Habs or something like that. Okay, I'm hoping one day he'll make an appearance on here with us. But funny thing is, in one of his last videos, he talked about just that. His idea was to fire Ducharme and bring Julien back if he's still on the payroll.
And just like have Julien like secretly coach?
No. His idea was actually to have Julien back behind the bench.
Oh.
Hire him back. So interesting that comment was up there because, I mean, I don't see that happening.
No.
But, you can't. It's like going home again, as they say. You can't really do that. It doesn't usually work.
He had 2 tries. He's had 2 tries now as the coach.
Right? He's had 2, right? Well, they say 3 strikes, you're out.
Yeah.
But let's
He's
hope.
Still the only one who speaks French. They'll hire him, though. Jesus.
This is true. This is a problem. Like, look, the way Ducharme's performing, or the job he's doing, he's an interim coach. He's got the interim tag.
Yeah.
Almost, if you got somebody better than him, it's almost like you bring him in, right?
Yeah.
If you're Bergevin, would you admit a mistake like that at this point and say, "Oh, this isn't working," and go in a different direction? And maybe that's why he gave the interim tag.
Yeah, it's not necessarily a mistake you're making right now. It's an interim tag, so you can say like, "Oh, well, we were keeping him here until we can find someone who fits our team." So
yeah, but that's not what he said when he hired him, though.
No.
Oh God, no! When he hired him, he said no. Ducharme was his only choice.
Oh, okay.
He talked him up. See, it's a problem. So I don't think that's.
Oh yeah, that might not happen then.
Yeah, it could be a problem. So, like, really, if he would go to if he would fire him, I mean, he'd have to be admitting. It's a big admission that he made a mistake, considering how he talked him up.
Yeah.
like I don't know a solution here. Is it the coach? Is it that there's meddling from the GM? I guess we can go a little farther in and ask about team leadership. Did you see what, like, I didn't see what Jonathan Drouin said, but I read one of the things that Shea Weber said in, I guess the post game or yesterday in press.
I think that was post game, and like Shea Weber or Joanne, sorry, it was basically like, yeah, no, like there's someone else on the other side of me, so why don't you talk to him or something like that.
That's basically what Weber said.
A pretty shitty comment, right?
Well, but that's basically what Weber said.
Yeah. He's like, oh, yeah, it's a team sport. It's a team sport, right? It's a team sport.
Yeah, it's a team sport, right? Like, so what do you think of that?
Yeah. Well, Shea Weber especially, you're the captain. You're the fucking captain of this team. Take responsibility. Yeah. Don't look at your team and say this is a team sport. Don't throw your team under the bus. That was a shit comment.
It was.
Yeah.
And
I didn't appreciate that.
Yeah, not something when you think about Shea Weber, that's not something you think of him and his character. I read, was it I read or heard, I can't remember, that it's in direct response to either the bad stuff that's been written about him lately or the stupid questions that they get from
I thought it was in response to a question. I didn't see the video, but yeah, I read the thing on that.
No, it was, but the reason he said that is that it was just basically to the reporters because they've been writing bad stuff about him.
Like, I understand if like he's responding to, I understand a little bit if he's responding to the Montreal press because they are vicious. But like, I don't think you should ever, if you're the captain of a team, you should never like throw your team under the bus. You should always take responsibility regardless of whether or not you are to blame, regardless of whether or not you were out there giving 110% the entire time. You're the goddamn captain.
Right, and the question,
steer it.
The question was directly about how if he wanted to make a comment about the way he's been playing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, he should have. He should have just said no comment. I don't really want to talk about it.
Yeah.
That would be better than what he said.
Yeah.
So it begs the question: maybe is all this pressure even getting to the leaders, the veterans? Because there's definitely been no accountability to them or like from the coach, like making them accountable for the way they've been playing in general. And from that core of leadership, where are they? Like, are they expecting the two young kids, Suzuki and KK, to drag this team forward at their age? Because I'm not.
I mean, looking at the cute little like Instagram pregame things, I know that doesn't like tell us very much. But looking at those, I see KK going around to everyone and hyping everyone up in all of those videos. Like, I see him trying to like elevate their energy and like give everyone props as they're going out. I wouldn't I hope not. Jesus, that's too much to put on them right now, especially when you have this veteran core that you should be able to rely on.
And I mean, it kind of shows a bit of what's going on, right? If that's what's going on, and KK's the guy that's trying to pump everybody up and blah, 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 and the leaders on this team aren't, that's a problem. And I wonder what it is. Now, he's gone. We're going to be bringing Jeff. Jeff's going to be in a minute. Yeah, he's in the green room getting ready. So sorry about once Jeff's in here, there'll be more. I'll be able to look at the chat a little bit more. So thanks, guys, for having patience with that. And yeah, so I was where was I? I was at well, Jeff's coming in. Jeff distracted me.
Talking about the leadership and where is it?
Yeah, well, no, that's right. We're the core guys, and this is good that Jeff's here. Jeff, give me a thumbs up when you're ready, okay? And yeah. Oh, you're ready? Because this is a good topic for Jeff. Because this is something that Jeff and I have talked about, and it's his point that he's brought up to me many times, is about the lack of leadership from the veterans. They're not there. They're not delivering. And, so this is where we're at, Jeff. So we're talking basically about, what's wrong with the Habs. So good thing you came in at that point. We're talking exactly about the leadership. Are you? So, what do you think? Because we've talked about it before. So, give your opinion on like what's wrong leadership wise right now, and what you see going on with the veterans.
We got a losing culture, and I don't know. From the comments I saw yesterday, I'm very disappointed in how Jonathan Drouin and Shea Weber handled the press conference yesterday with their comments. Like, not what I expected from Weber at all. He basically said, well, it doesn't matter if I'm not playing well because nobody else is playing well. Well, you're the captain. You're the leader of this team.
Right.
Gallagher's not out there to be the heart and soul and to, like, that guy doesn't quit. Like, I was annoyed by it. Maybe it was taken out of context, or it wasn't, or he was just having a bad day. I mean, they're not playing well. The media's all over them, but it's not like years past where the media's in their face every day. It's Zoom meetings. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
true. That's true. It's a little
right.
Different.
Like, it's not as high stress as it normally is. Like, the fans have no access to the players. I don't understand why he was being snarky yesterday about it. And then Drouin saying, well, there's another column. So go look at the next column. Like, I got a bunch of assists. Well, there's another column after that too. Well, how about you look at the next column where you're like leading the team and minus whatever he is, right? Like, if you want to play that game, like, we can pick you guys apart all you want. Like, I'm so tired of professional athletes and their, like, I get it. It's a hard job. Only select few people get to do this for a living in the world, but they're paid millions of dollars to do it. And then they have no, like, it seems like it's okay to praise them when they do great, but whenever it's time to crap on them when they play bad, it's like, oh, well, it's okay. There's always all built-in excuses. And I'm annoyed by that. Like, Weber's passing the buck, kicking the can down the road to his teammates, and then Drouin saying, well, he got lots of assists, basically, is what he said. Like, oh, no, man, you scored 2 goals this year. No one's expecting you to be a 50-goal scorer, but we're, like, the range of 20 is not like, that's not a huge ask, not for the amount of money you're being paid.
Yeah.
There's guys getting paid a lot less, doing a lot. There's guys making less than a quarter of what he's making this year. What's Perry making? I don't even like Corey Perry.
He's making minimum $750.
Right. And he's Danault is having a horrible season, and he's outscored Drouin. Oh
yeah. Everybody has.
Right? He didn't have a goal until a month ago. And he's outscoring Drouin. Like I said, I hate crapping on professional athletes because I get it. It's hard. It's high stress. The media is constantly high. But if this is a year this is the year where you don't have to deal with fans. You don't have to deal with the media. You don't have to deal with all that stuff.
Here,
they're still writing shit in the paper.
They are, but look at this here.
What players picking up the paper and reading it? I'd never be on Twitter. I would definitely never be on Facebook.
Yeah.
I would never be reading the newspapers. I might watch TSN. That'd be about it.
Yeah, they tell him to stay away from that stuff. So look at this here. The press tried to get Suzuki to blame somebody, but he just said he had to play better and be responsible for his play.
But yeah, exactly. That's what Weber should have said.
Yeah, and so the kids, maybe it is the 2 kids, Suzuki and KK, are in the morale department, are kind of trying to lead this team.
Yeah, I mean, if you see your 35-year-old captain kind of getting weared down,
I've been saying that now for a year, that there's something wrong in that dressing room because coaches are getting fired, players are getting traded, and I think it's this core group of players. They chased out other players that were dynamic players on this team because they didn't fit into that. Is it a clique? I don't know. Like, it's starting to seem that way. All the evidence is starting to point to there's 3 or 4 guys that are in charge of this team over the coach, over even the GM, they've got the GM held hostage. It seems like I don't know. Like I'm getting to the point where I don't know, man. I'm frustrated. Like
we were talking early. You kind of something you just said made me think of it. I was talking about Ducharme, how this team doesn't, like, you might know this. I don't know if you saw when he coached over there. This doesn't really look like a Ducharme coach team, right?
No, it doesn't.
So now I was reading some stuff on, now granted it was on Twitter, but I was reading some stuff about people questioning whether maybe Bergevin has got his hand in that and
Yeah, I heard
his
that
hands
today,
up.
too.
What do you think of that?
I think Ducharme's not going to do anything that's going to cost him his job. So that means
No balls.
well, I think you'll see maybe next year, like after he gets a full preseason and everything. I maybe you'll see more of his style, but I don't know if his style will actually that he coached in Halifax and I mean it's Quebec Major Junior is actually going to translate to the NHL, right? Like that's the other issue too, right?
Well, but then why did they hire him if not for that?
Well, because he's innovative and he's young. It's the same thing. Toronto did the same thing. Like it, and for the most part, it's actually kind of worked for Toronto. I mean, I know they're on a skid right now, but
there's a lot of worry in Leafland right now.
But I mean, like there's something fundamentally wrong with this team, and everything has been changed.
Hey, Harry.
Except for one thing, the core.
Right.
That's the only thing that hasn't changed.
Right.
Now, the core has never been supported like they have been. I mean, the last time this team had any kind of support was, 2014, maybe? Bergevin went out and got some players like Radulov and stuff like that. Other than that, like this core, like the pieces are there. I think that Bergevin made a mistake investing so much of this team's future into Suzuki and Kotkaniemi this year. What I was afraid of was going to happen. They're just inconsistent. They're young, and this team has been up and down with them. But even still, it's not even really even on them. Like I'm not blaming.
No, you can't blame them at their age. But you know what? I have to agree with you and I was all in at the beginning on those two guys. But you know what? At least a year early on that.
Yeah.
Well, it might be even 2 or 3 years early.
It might be. I said at least a year though. Now, granted, though, if he doesn't do that, we don't have Anderson, we don't have Toffoli. I don't know that that's a bad thing, but I think, yeah, they jumped the gun a little bit on the expectations of KK and Suzuki. Well, I have to say,
they took a shot. I mean, the evidence was there that it could work, so they took a shot. Bergevin took a shot at it. Molson took a shot at it. Right?
I think it's a pretty good.
Might as well.
Shot. And now they have this NHL experience. Right, rather than leaving them down in Laval or whatever.
But at the same time,
actually be better sooner for us.
I mean, it's not like 20-year-olds never had a breakout season before. Like it happens. First, if no 20-year-olds or 21-year-olds never had great seasons in the NHL, Bergevin doesn't even take that shot. He's like, oh no, they're not going to be ready.
Obviously, right? but again, it's another roll of the dice, though. I mean, it's a roll of the dice. It wasn't. I mean, you know,
the one thing that we definitely have. Yes, I got a haircut here, like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, my God. You're always wearing a hat.
Yeah. I forgot what I was saying now. Damn you, Harry. How'd you get a Scotian Canadian sweater?
She's the one who won. Congratulations, by the way, to our very own Luna Darling, who won the Scotian Canadian sweatshirt. And everybody, I'm sure a lot of people in here remember the contest because most of us watch Scotian.
It's so big.
Yeah.
Wasn't it?
I know. I remember seeing the announcement. I don't remember hearing her name that she won. We were talking in the green room, right, for about 5 minutes. And then I said to her, what? Is that the Scotian Canadian sweatshirt? You won? Because it's a one of a kind. There's no others.
No.
So I thought that was pretty funny. So yeah, congratulations.
That lightened up the mood a little bit.
Yeah, well,
It
listen.
was like pretty serendipitous because like my partner and I were talking about moving out to Halifax, and then I won the sweater, and I'm like, well, now we have to.
Now you gotta meet it. You gotta meet him when you're wearing the sweater. Wouldn't it be funny you out wearing it one day and you bump into him? Like
Right?
that would be. Wouldn't that be something awesome? Not that Halifax. I mean, I don't know how big a city it is, but
It's not super huge.
yeah, but still a city.
There's a lot of like cities around it. It's kind of like Sudbury, where it's not like a big city, but there's a lot around it. Right?
Yeah, I've never been, never saw. I saw one of his videos where he was at a car place, and I went, "Oh, it actually is a city. It looks like a city, not a small town. Why do I think Halifax is a small town? Don't ask me."
It's a pretty fun city. I've been there like a few times. I have some family out there.
Hey, look there, Jeff, Andrew, Will, Trenton representing. Isn't that near you?
That's where I live, yeah.
Well, I wasn't going to say that. I said near you. Okay, give everybody your address now.
You want my credit card number too?
Hey, listen, no, don't do that on the air. Send that to me in the private chat.
Okay.
And that little number on the back of it. I need
Yeah,
that.
the 3 number pins, very important. Don't forget.
Yeah.
Joseph is asking if only Montreal could once just draft a generational type player to carry us. Haven't had that in a while because, unfortunately, they don't come around often. But
They don't suck long enough to get one.
Well, that's another thing. They don't want to break it down to go to that point.
You get a generational player, you got to be pretty crappy for probably 5 years at
Like,
least.
didn't the Leafs like
They
purposefully lose to get
yeah,
Yeah.
they tank to get him. They admit it too. So actually, it's a good segue to something I have here.
Hi, John.
Um,
I just realized I'm not wearing a hat.
You're not. I have something here about. Oh yeah, skill level. The skill level of the team. The fact that there's no elite players. Might as well talk about that.
Yeah.
Hey, John's here from Hot Take. Hey, John. Hey, wait. You got a game tonight, don't you? Isn't Toronto playing tonight?
Is it?
Well,
Now.
I don't know if they're playing tonight. They haven't played in 5 days, so.
I checked the schedule. I was going to actually invite John, but I checked the schedule. I thought there was a game tonight, and that's why I didn't send John an invite. But hey, John, everybody, Hot Take Hockey, head over there and subscribe. That's a great channel.
The game tonight is postponed.
Mine's so. John's got a great channel. Look at me putting myself down. Yeah, that's nice. But seriously, John's got a great channel. Thanks for coming in there, buddy. I thought you had a game time. If you want to, I'll send you a link. I don't know if you want to come in or what you're doing, but you always have an open invitation, John.
Rick, the Toronto-Winnipeg game is postponed, so I don't know if that's COVID or what.
Postponed.
Oh, that happened
I assume.
today.
Yeah.
Because I checked on this yesterday. Hell, I checked this morning when I sent out the invitations. That happened today. Wow. Babcock wanted to drag the Leafs down. That was a bad choice, having him as a coach. Too bad, John, you don't have the game. I didn't know that. That's really bad. So we were getting to, I guess we kind of said it, but what is it going to take for Montreal to get an elite player here?
You got to blow it up and suck for a few years. I mean, generational players don't come around. You might get one every 7 or 8 years at the earliest.
No,
one coming in a couple years.
Listen, I get that. Oh, okay. John just answered it. That must have been in Vancouver coming back. They shifted some games around,
Yeah.
and that's why that was shifted. Like when Montreal came back, that happened in our thing. Okay, no, I get that what you're saying, but I guess what I'm saying is, it's obvious. You got to suck for a little while. You got to get those high draft picks. But
Or is there a trade we could?
is there any other, like, I guess that's what I'm asking.
Oh, Bergevin's proven he's not willing to sacrifice enough.
Okay, I'm not even going that far. What I'm asking is, do you either of you guys see anybody out there that if Bergevin was willing to make these kind of trades, that possibly could be available that could
Eichel.
Well, we all know Sidney Crosby wants to play with us.
But listen, first of all, Eichel, if I'm wrong, I could be wrong on this, but the last I heard update on Eichel is the start of next season for him is still in question.
Oh.
Because of the quick turnaround in season, I think he's injured. I don't know about that's a trade.
All I know is Montreal fans will put up with a rebuild because they don't want to suck and miss the playoffs for 4 or 5 years. Well, we didn't rebuild, and we missed the playoffs. Yeah, we did a reset, and we missed the playoffs just as many times as we probably would have anyway if we had a rebuild.
That's true. That's true.
So that argument to me is kind of a moot point now. So,
okay, so then let's go on to this. And I think I know how Jeff is going to come across on this question, but we have, as we know, a guy in our system that has super high expectations by most people. In lieu of being able to get, an Eichel or whatever, someone like that, how effective do you think Caufield's going to be? Not this season. I'm only talking about next season.
I have no idea. I don't trust this core. I don't trust this coaching staff to be able to put him in a successful position.
That's a fair point.
I think if he does anything, it's just going to be on his own merit. Like I'm losing faith every game. Even when they played really well the other night and they lost the game, and it was because that game literally was lost because McDavid decided he was going to turn it up a notch and go to a 5th or 6th gear in the last 10 minutes of that game, and they had no answer for it.
They had none. I get it. But now let me ask you, he's oh God, what was I going to say? I've been reading that he's a leader type. He's been leading lately in the last couple of seasons, same college there. His coach there said he's a leader type and blah, blah, blah. Okay. You think he could be come in here and literally lead this team in morale and just by doing good things and looking good and maybe get them turned around next season?
I don't know where I heard this. I've been watching a couple other channels the last few days. I don't know if I'm stealing this from someone else or if I heard it on TSN 690. I'm not sure where I heard it, but whoever said it, I wish I could give you the credit for it, but they basically said that they're starting to wonder if there's a seniority problem in this dressing room where...
Oh, I saw that too.
Yes.
That I read that. We probably read the same article. Yeah.
And if that's the case, then that's a problem too, right?
Guys are getting played. Basically, what Jeff is saying that doesn't matter for the veterans. Doesn't matter how they play. They're going out there because they're the big guys. They're the big names. They're whatever. They get making the money and all that. So they're not being put out there because they're playing well. They're being put out there because, like you said, it's a seniority thing. I read the same thing.
Yeah, that comes back to the accountability issue that we were talking about before. And I think both Matt and John from Hot Take Hockey said that as well.
Yeah. I've been saying it for weeks. I've been saying it since literally, Rick, how long have I been saying, there's a problem with this core? I don't know. I mean, it's how many years and how many opportunities have these guys had to have put in front of them to succeed? And it seems like we're in the same spot almost every year at this time of the year. We're either backing into the playoffs or we're clawing to try and get into the playoffs and just missing it or barely getting in.
Yep.
And I'm not saying that, hey, this team has all the pieces are there for them to flip a switch here in the playoffs and win a few rounds. Everything's there for them to do it. It's just, I don't know if the motivation sometimes is there in the regular season. And then, hey, even Rick, you even said this the first of the year, this team's built for the playoffs. Well, it might be, but we got to get there.
They got to get there. But I always said that too. They got to get to the playoffs to do that.
I still don't think playoffs are in doubt.
Well, okay, I asked this of Luna earlier. With Vancouver kind of looking hot right now, and they have 4 games in hand and 8 points behind us. So just if they win those games, right, we're even. You don't think there's Let me put it this way. Do you think that should be enough to light the fire under these guys' asses?
I think these guys should have had a fire lit under them when the coaches got fired, and they didn't.
It's true. It's true.
I mean, they did for a bit there.
No, they sucked. Even after closing change, they sucked.
Yeah, there was never a point where after the it was a satisfying
win one, lose one.
Yeah,
that's pretty much how it's been. I mean,
consistent this entire year, and yeah, maybe I don't know. Hopefully, maybe Vancouver kind of creeping up on them, or even Calgary creeping up on them. Well,
you would think they would have come out harder against Calgary than they did.
No, but Vancouver wasn't creeping up on them yet at that point.
Yeah, but Calgary was. They could have buried Calgary and put them away.
True.
Right? Yeah.
And Calgary was taking their own.
Okay, but then say now both of these teams are kind of back in it at least a little bit, right? So that should. I mean, it should. Like basically tonight, if they come out flat again tonight, there's like zero excuse for them to come out flat tonight.
Yeah.
Anything they say, you could just say, just talk, because there's not a valid excuse.
I mean, like, didn't they have a players' meeting the other day too? That didn't seem to really change anything.
I don't know. Did they? They did have one. They had one early. Yeah, they had. Wasn't that before that was before the firing of Julian? They had that.
No, they had one. I thought I read somewhere that they had one a few days ago.
I did not.
After a game, they just kind of had it wasn't a players only, but the coaches were gone. The boys just stayed in the dressing room and they hashed things out.
Yeah, I didn't hear that.
Changed anything. They came out and played like crap the next night too. So.
Yeah, no, I didn't. I really didn't hear that. But usually
but the last game was like other than the last 10 minutes, like.
Yeah.
The issue with that game was they didn't put the puck in the net. They didn't hit the net enough with chances, and the power play was still kind of crappy. But for the most part, 5-on-5, that game they played well. There was intensity. There was
that part, but they still having trouble to win the middle of the ice. So it's a lot of perimeter stuff, and that it's pretty much not going to work consistently. So. I don't know. I know one thing about Caufield. He'll go and try to get in the front of the net. It's something he does.
I hope not.
Something he does.
Well, maybe he'll draw a few elbowing penalties.
He's about the same size as Gallagher, you guys. Like
I know. I don't know why everybody thinks he's so tiny. He's not a midget.
Smaller than Gallagher. There was a picture of him and Gallagher last year together.
Gallagher's 5'9" and he's 5'8". It's not that big of a deal.
It's too small.
He's not.
He is. I think Nick Suzuki's too small.
Well, people thought Gretzky was too small.
Yeah, that was a different league, though. Gretzky had immense talent. That's the difference there.
Yeah. I don't want to perpetuate the Gretzky comparison. I'm just saying, in terms of factor,
I think Caulfield's too small. I think he's going to struggle in the NHL, but I'm not the only one that thinks that, and there's lots of people that think the opposite. So,
but I mean, okay.
I'm not saying he's not going to be able to score goals ever, and he's just going to be a complete boss. But I don't think he's going to be Ovechkin like some people think he's going to be.
No, I think
he can put on some pounds. It's fine.
With John in the room, the last time, the other day, we did a game. John was with me for like half the game, and we talked about that. And I think John's got a very realistic expectation for a guy like Caufield. And he says 25, maybe 30 goals a season. That's how he sees them.
Then that's not what we're being sold right now. That's not the bill of goods we've been sold for a year on this kid. We've been told that this kid's going to be a superstar.
Yeah, no, granted.
He's going to be Brendan Gallagher, or
I see it. Well, basically, yeah. I mean, okay, but did you really ever think?
Still not. So then we still don't have an elite player.
But did you really think he was going to be a 50-goal scorer? I could see 40.
I didn't, but lots of people think that this kid's going to be a 100-point guy in the NHL, and he's the savior. And if he's scoring 25
that's their
goals,
problem, right? Like, that's the problem. That's the media's problem.
Okay, look what John's saying. Caufield is going to be elite, 20 to 25 goals. Best season might be 30, and he's still calling him elite.
I don't call that. I don't consider that elite. Sorry, that's all-star. I don't think it's elite. Elite to me is McDavid, Draisaitl. That's
100 points.
Like I don't consider guys like Line elite.
For me, elite is basically point a game, just under, with shades going over.
To me, elite's at minimum a point a game. That's
right up there. I mean, you could be just a little under, but you're right up there every year consistently, and you would gusts up to 100. You know, that's how I see an elite player too. So I guess
20, 25 goals, but not talking about assists. So I'm talking about points. It'd be at least a point a game for an elite player. So if he's good at making assists, then that's also great to
Well, I don't know that I see Caufield having, say, 25 goals and 50 assists. I don't know that I see that. Right? I mean, I could see him having pretty much even numbers in goals and assists.
So that's a good season.
Well, here, I'm just gonna try to explain I didn't even think Matthews was elite until this year, right? Like I think he crossed that barrier
when he started to be better, and when he started to be a better playmaker. Am I right? His assists have come up.
Oh, it's just he's scoring at a much bigger clip than he ever has.
John saying Caufield will be like a less physical Konechny or a better shooting DeBrincat. Okay, well, elite for me is, yes, close to a point per game. McDavid and Dry for me are franchise players. Elite is below.
Yeah, I agree with that, John.
Okay, so there you go.
That's what I think. I think Caufield can be DeBrincat. I don't.
Whoops, where'd I get that one?
I have no issue with that, with the DeBrincat comparison. Like, that's...
Well, a better shooting DeBrincat. Right? DeBrincat hit 40 goals, didn't he?
Yeah. I don't know, 40. Yeah, he was up there one year. He played well this year. He had a pretty crappy year last year. I don't know if he was injured.
Yeah, he had a good first year where I thought he got about 40 goals, and then he had a not a great second year and a good, I think it was his second year, and he had a good start at least this year. I don't know how it continued. But yeah, I mean, that would be okay with me. Caufield, top line player, borderline top 60 elite. 70 points in an 82-game season is pretty close to elite. I expect that for Caufield.
Yeah.
So I don't consider 70 points elite.
So John sees him as a bit of a playmaker.
It's just a difference in opinion of elite.
Well, I know that his playmaking ability has really gotten better.
Points. That'd be great.
Yeah, that would be nice.
That's definitely all-star level.
Well, yeah, come on, right? Domi when he had a 72. That's basically what he's saying. It's going to be a lot like Domi in his first year here.
In the first year,
Domi elite?
In his first season here.
I never considered Domi a game changer.
I'm just saying point production-wise. That's what I meant. Listen, Caufield's shot, I don't care. Like, that's off the charts level. So he's got that. I mean, he's got that. He's definitely an elite level, if not franchise level, maybe even shooter.
Well, he'll either be one of the best we ever saw shot-wise, or he'll be a huge disappointment. I think if he, I think the fans will be very disappointed if he only ends up being like a 20-goal scorer.
Yeah, I honestly. 20, yeah. I personally
25. I think I'm 25 is like what he kind of does his first year or two.
Yeah, I'm looking at 25 to 35, upwards of 40 on a good year. That's how I see him.
I think Harry, you're right, Harry. That's exactly what's going to happen.
20 points.
You guys are all wrong. Obviously,
man, that'd be great.
Going to get 100 goals and I like the number of points, 420 points every year, especially since we just had 420.
It's 421, the real holiday.
Well, we had 420 yesterday.
Yeah, but it's legal now, so it doesn't count.
Yeah, but I've been celebrating this since like 1971. Not a joke.
I got a question for John. Like, who on the Leafs does he consider elite? Like, what's his cutoff there for the Leafs? Is Marner, Matthews? Like, does he consider Nylander in that elite? I'm just talking forwards. I'm not talking. I think they got some good elements on defense there that can be one of the top guys. But
Well, okay, so he's kind of saying what you're saying,
yeah,
Jeff. But I still think he'll find them. That's the whole point. He'll find them. Small guy. Look, Marty St. Louis did it. The Pocket Rocket did it. I mean, you can go all the way back. There's players that did it. There's no reason why he can't. It's not to say it's not going to guarantee him, but I think he has that drive and determination to get there. Gilbert Dion? What's Gilbert? I love when people Gilbert Dion.
I loved him. I went out and bought all his rookie cards. I thought he was going to be a superstar.
I liked him until, and I don't remember if it was a playoff game or what game. I think it was a playoff game where there was some kind of a scrum in front. Anyway, they weren't sure who scored. And he was all there. It was me. It was me to everybody. I said, that's it. I don't like this guy no more. That's it. I don't like that. So that's when I
John,
stopped.
that's kind of where I do see Caufield is 65 points, 25 goals.
Oh, where's John? Where's that one? Did I miss that one?
Right above that, yeah. That's I don't think that's a bust by any means. No, it's not a bust. That's exactly what I'm kind of hoping he does, that consistency.
Oh God, who's a bust?
Consistent though, right?
But what player is really a bust anyway if he's getting consistently 65 points? Even if you had higher expectations, that's not fair to say a guy can come in every year and get 65 plus points is a bust, right?
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
No, I agree.
No, I think that's legit what I think Hull Caufield can do. I don't know if he's going to be in that 80 to 100 point range.
See, Steven
at least not in his first few years.
Well, you got to give him, there's not too many goal scorers other than, I can only remember really Bossy. Gretzky. I mean, those kind of guys that came in and they were as good in the first year as they were pretty much any other year. And that's not happening very often.
Hey, Hockey Junkie. Man, I love that guy's stuff. I just started watching him yesterday. I didn't know he had a channel.
Yeah, Jeff and I are new subscribers, and I suggest anybody you want to have a good laugh. And as from what I remember Jeff saying, like making the same points as I do. I wish I was that funny. So it's good stuff, and yeah, check him out. Give him a subscribe. So yeah, we checked you out and we subscribed.
Beauty.
He's funny.
Beauty.
Lot.
Take off, eh?
He's got some excellent writers.
Well, maybe he writes it himself.
I think so, but I don't know how he comes up with everything. Like, he does a couple videos every day, and every one of them he's got something in there that makes you chuckle.
Does anybody watch Urinating Tree?
No.
I don't watch all their videos, but they're like that too, eh? They do that kind of stuff, and it's funny.
Oh, okay.
So I wonder if he must Hockey Junkie. You must watch Urinating Tree or know who they are. Anyway,
no,
I don't know.
No idea.
Yeah, John, I think that's what it is. Yeah, like elite to me is franchise.
The bigger players.
I guess the closest we've had would have been Carey Price.
Matthews, Marner, or superstar franchise. More Matthews. Also hate when people call a player bust just because they don't meet the full expectation. Well, that's exactly. A bust is somebody not a hockey player, doesn't become a regular NHLer. That's a bust.
Well, it's funny. You'll see people say someone was a bust, and yet they played 1,000 games in the NHL, and you go, "Well, wasn't that?"
I wish I was a bust.
Lots of guys that got drafted high and didn't play 200 games in the NHL, let alone 1,000.
I know if I got drafted, I would have been high.
Yeah.
Would have been high that time. Slash whoosh.
That went over everyone's head for at least 5 seconds there. Shit, I was going to say something. I totally, my own joke just sort of sidetracked me completely. All right, let's talk about something.
Did you want to go back to the power plays?
Yeah, we're going to get there because we only got about, at most, I want to go about another 20 minutes. All right, let's just, a couple of questions I saw today that I'm hoping people out there can answer. And this one is, Price is out day-to-day with a concussion. I think it's day-to-day with the concussion, right?
Yeah.
Now, I got this. I got this question a few times. How come Chiasson doesn't get a penalty for hitting him in the head?
I think it was
John, do you know that?
Contact, maybe?
I think it was incidental.
Incidental contact?
Like
I don't know the answer. I'm just wondering because I saw that question out there so many times on Twitter that I was curious at the answer. The other thing I wanted to ask is anybody worried yet that Price is very brittle these days?
Yes.
Yes. Oh my gosh, yes.
Like
this isn't new. This has been going on since Kreider ran into him.
No, I know, but it's getting even worse though. Like it seems like this season he can't stay healthy at all.
Well, look at the workload that they're under this year.
Yeah.
True. But I mean, look, his age is catching up to him. Listen, Stefan Waite
basically said that, right?
Said that he's
getting him through seasons with Band-Aids and aspirin, right? Like
yeah. So does that worry anybody? For
it's definitely worrisome. So that's why I was very like I think everyone in the fan base kind of had a collective sigh of relief when we drafted Allen.
Right.
And it's like there's an actual goalie now behind Carey Price because he seems to have a lot of trouble lately. And for me, it felt like after the birth of his first child, that's just when he started to taper down. And I don't know if this is a stress or a mental issue that he's been having because like it seems ever since the birth of his first kid is when he kind of started to go down.
This basically for this season, he's really breaking down fast. So now here, another question with everybody, I guess, falling on pretty much and emotionally on either side of.
I'm gonna say something though. Being an NHL goalie is hard.
Yes.
Hard on the body.
Oh,
Being
without a doubt.
You have to be able to do the split, people.
Well, without a doubt. So. Okay, now there's people that are usually very emotional on either side of this about trading Price, right? Do you think that if Montreal can find a taker, might be a good idea?
I think you make that decision when you decide whether you're going to rebuild or not. If they're not going to rebuild and they're going to try and add to this team next year, in the offseason to try and contend again, then no, you don't get rid of Price. If you are serious about a rebuild, then yeah, you trade for Carey Price. It's boils down to what your objective is after this season or next season.
But wouldn't that be up to Price himself because he has a no trade clause?
You got a no movement clause.
Yeah.
I always say that all that means is he controls where he goes.
Right.
But what player is going to stay on a team that doesn't want him?
Right. Yeah, and I wouldn't if they came to him and said, "Listen, we're going to go in a different direction." I think he'll waive the clause.
Like, I don't think any players ever stayed on a team that didn't want him.
Yeah.
Matt Sundin. No, it's true.
Vancouver.
No, Matt Sundin, didn't he refuse one trading deadline? He said, "No, I'm not going. I'm staying."
Did he?
Yep.
Oh shit! All right.
John's still here. Confirm that for me. If you're still here, John, didn't Matt Sundin do that? I remember.
I don't.
Yeah, they wanted to move him, and he didn't want to go. In the 90s, mid 90s. I'm quite sure. I that's one of those things I would probably put money down on, and I don't usually bet money. So I would probably, I'm pretty sure. If anyone
I
is
remember
able,
eating mats when I was like a child, and I'm like, oh my god, there's a giant in front of me. I had no idea what was happening. My dad was just like, this is a very important man. Go shake his hand, and I'm like, you're so big.
yeah. Here we go. Yes, they asked if he wanted to get moved, and he said no. Ended up finishing the contract with Leafs and signed with Vancouver for a year.
Yeah.
But that's right. They wanted to move him, and he just said no. I don't want to go anywhere.
Yeah, but it was only 1 year.
But it was a big thing in the papers, man. It was a big thing. That's why I remember it. Because they were actually getting. They were a lot of people very upset with him for making that decision and not going, and they thought he was very selfish not to do it.
I don't see Carey Price doing that, though.
No, I don't either. But
I'm not.
It's because you said it's only because you said no. They always end up.
Yeah, but he did leave.
Not always.
It's not like he stayed for 5 more years. He left the next season and went to Vancouver. So
yeah, I mean, if they went to Carey Price and said, "Hey, we're going to be rebuilding for the next few years,"
I don't
feel like
why would Price want to hang
because
around
he
for that.
wants a Stanley Cup. That's the only trophy he doesn't have. So he's going to want to go and get a Stanley Cup. If he has to go to a different team to get it, I think he will.
Well, yeah. I mean, he wants one. John wanted us to check this
it with Montreal, but
well, yeah, but doesn't mean it's going to happen. I think Chiasson shouldn't be getting away with that. The hit, even if it was accidental, it was in the crease. Same way I was frustrated that Byron only got an interference call for the head contact, intent or not. You see, I was okay with the Byron one. Weird, eh?
I didn't like either of them, to be honest, but
yeah,
I don't know what. Like, I'm with John on that. I thought both calls were kind of weak, but I don't know. I also grew up watching hockey at a different time when goalies were getting run over every play. So
yeah.
So when I see it, I don't see it as shockingly as some of the younger generation sees it. When they see it, it's like, oh, because they don't see it as often as we do, or we did. But
right,
I mean,
true.
That's just one thing of it. I think if you hit a player in the head and they didn't call the penalty on, that player ends up leaving the game and goes out to concussion, and the league can look at it the next day and say, yeah, there was head contact. They should be able to do something after the fact, even though it wasn't a penalty during the game.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think Montreal's faking that Carey Price is out for a week with a concussion.
I read a couple of comments that thought that he was, but I agree with you. I definitely agree with you on that.
And
all right,
Byron, like a shot to the head, the league has proven that they don't know what they're very inconsistent in their calls on that stuff.
But I thought the guy skated into Byron. Like I don't think there was any. It was totally accidental with Byron.
I don't think it matters if it's accidental.
But they weren't like they banged into each other without looking at it. Like I thought it was totally two guys didn't know where they were banging into each other. How can you penalize somebody for that?
Tip for tat.
Anyways, that's how I thought for that. All right, last subject. Power play. What the fuck is wrong with the power play?
The same problem that's wrong with the team. There's no elite scorer.
Well, wait a second. Okay.
Well, I feel like there's still, at least in the last few games or the last maybe 10 games, they've still been relying on Julian's play, and it's like dump the puck, try and set up, and it doesn't get set up, and then it gets sent down the ice. So they're not setting up, and they're not getting anything towards the net. They're taking all their shots from the perimeter.
No creativity.
Yeah, it's just not working. It's not.
And working. I saw a point. Okay, because we talk about they're passing and they don't shoot, but you know what? Sometimes they'll take a shot knowing it's going to get through 7 guys. Sure, it might. When there's a guy open to make a pass to.
Yeah.
So why take a stupid perimeter shot when you can maybe set up a better shot? So it's like they're totally off balance with their power play. And but what happened? How could it have been they changed the coaches? Power play, power play looks great. And then like 2 weeks later, it looks like the other guy's power play.
Because teams are adjusting, and the Habs, that's the big problem. They don't adjust well.
Then something wrong with the coaching. So Alex Burrows, he's so great.
The coaches
and
can
he
yell and
wasn't.
scream all they want. It's up to the players on the ice to buy in, right? Like,
I get that part. I do, but it seems like, I don't know. The power play looked different, and it was looking good, and then it just reverted back to just inability. It can't just be that the other teams adjusted and they never.
Going back to Shea Weber's comments and Drew Ann's comments yesterday, this is a team that's struggling with confidence.
Yeah, that's true.
How by the comments they made yesterday,
yeah,
there's no confidence, and I think it's hard to be successful when you don't have confidence. And I think that's basically what it boils down to. They're second guessing everything they're doing on the ice.
And on that point, anybody who really wants Cole Caufield to walk into that dressing room, you're wrong.
Yeah.
That's not what I want.
I would crush that poor child.
You don't want him coming onto this team now. They got to work things out before you bring him back. You bring him up.
I said that a while ago, but
I know, but I'm just saying,
they might get stuck bringing him in because they need someone to put the puck in the net.
Yeah, but they still have to have cap space, so I don't know how they're going to work that out. Injuries, the only way.
Yeah.
Hey, Nolan P, no problem that you're late. And we're coming to the end of our.
I forgot. I didn't forget. I didn't realize the time.
No, we still got time. It's just that
that's why I wasn't on. I didn't realize what time it was.
We're sitting here like, did Jeff forget?
That's what Luna said. Luna already knows you. She said, maybe do you have his number so you can text him? Yeah.
I'm like, I think I was
talking to the wife, and then oh crap, I gotta go.
Yeah, well, we're gonna probably say goodbye. We're gonna start saying goodbye now for the pregame. I'm gonna be back on, and obviously they have an invitation whenever they want to come on. At 9:45 for the game, so there is a live cast. But this will end, and this is going to be the new way I'm going to be doing things. So we're going to have a pregame show.
I feel like we missed a bunch.
And then I'll have a live stream when the game starts, like 5 minutes before the game starts. So we'll do all the pregame stuff in like a half an hour pregame show. Won't be as long as this every game, that's for sure. But it's going to be done like that. So I'm going to, I think we're going to cut it here. I got to everything pretty much that I wanted to get to. I want to thank Jeff and Luna. I should have said Luna first because Luna was here first. She showed up on time. Jeff was late. First. Boo, Jeff. So thanks, Luna, the winner of the Scotian Canadiens sweatshirt. And I want to thank Jeff, as always, my partner, Jeff, down there. Not that kind of partner.
On later?
Nobody get it wrong. It's not that kind of partner. John, if you got nothing to do later, John, I will be on again. If you want to come in at any point, just fire me off an email. I'll send you a link. Like I said, John's always got an open invitation if he wants to come on, and hopefully we'll see Harry on the game at some point. And Andrew just says, Luna, you're the best.
I want to see everybody in the comments congratulate John on finishing his university.
Yes, we didn't do that. Shit. Well, I did online, but John just finished university. John's going to be out there doing more great things on his channel. So hopefully everybody will catch that. So yeah, congrats, John, once again, on finishing your 4 years. 4 years of prison. It's done. He's free. All right, so we're going to see you. Well, I know Jeff and Luna, maybe not at the start of but at some point during the live cast, we'll see them. Yep. And thanks, everybody, for being here. I really appreciate it. Give a thumbs up if you liked it. If you're new to the channel, subscribe and ring that notifications bell. And any comments you want in the comment section of the video, not here because we're going to be going. And, see you next time. 9:45, I'll be back to do the game. Thanks for watching, everybody. Stay safe out there. Peace out, y'all. And we're going to see you next video, next live cast. Bye, everybody. And thanks, John, for being here. I appreciate it, buddy.